Hashtag Trending would like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you this podcast. Meter delivers a complete networking stack, wired, wireless, and cellular in one integrated solution that's built for performance and scale. You can find them at meter.com/HTT. Can you really jailbreak an F-35 fighter jet? AMC rejects an award-winning AI film. Google wants to use your email to train their AI? Not that simple. And 80% say AI isn't boosting productivity. Haven't we seen this movie before? Welcome to Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. On a February podcast, Dutch Defense Secretary Gijs Tuinman suggested that the F-35 software could be jailbroken just like an iPhone. He was responding to European concerns that the United States retains control over critical software updates, logistics systems, and mission data through platforms once known as Alice and now replaced by ODIN. Tuinman quickly added it was something he should never say and left it there. Now, this isn't entirely theoretical. Israel operates a customized version of the F-35, the F-35I Adir, and has permission to integrate certain domestic systems and software adaptations. That arrangement, however, is unique. Most other partner nations do not have that level of access or modification authority, and their fleets remain tightly tied to U.S.-managed update pipelines and mission data files. Technically, the F-35 runs more than 8 million lines of hardened code across distributed systems with secure boot processes, encryption layers, and continuous telemetry. But no serious security professional would ever call any software unhackable. The real barriers are probably not technical. They're contractual, logistical, and operational. Engines, spares, certifications, and even mission planning tools are all interdependent. Change one layer improperly and you risk grounding the fleet. So the interesting part isn't whether someone can sideload an app onto a fighter jet. It's really that senior defense officials publicly raise the idea at all. And that tells you there's some real unease among allies about software sovereignty. And in modern weapon systems, software is power. An AI-generated film just won a film festival, but it can't get into the theaters. The short is called Thanksgiving Day. It was created by Igor OV using generative AI tools, including Gemini 3.1 and Nano Banana Pro. No traditional animation studio, no conventional production crew. The story itself is fully AI built, an intergalactic adventure about a bear and his platypus assistant traveling through the galaxy, encountering oddball characters along the way. The film won the inaugural Frame Forward AI Animated Film Festival, organized by Screen Vision Media, the company behind the 20-minute pre-show programming that runs in major theater chains. And the prize? A promised 2-week national theatrical run. But here's the problem. The exhibitors weren't part of that agreement, and according to Variety, AMC, a big distributor, declined to screen the film. This all lands in the middle of Hollywood's ongoing AI anxiety, some really incredible stories about production using AI, and after the 2023 writers and actors strikes, generative AI remains one of the most sensitive issues in the industry, especially around authorship and labor protections. Festivals can experiment. Theater chains carry contractual and reputational risk. But the momentum is obvious. We saw the examples this week of some of the things that could be produced using AI. And then maybe that's why Oscar-winning actor Matthew McConaughey said, "It's coming. It's already here. Don't deny it." So here we are. The technology can make a film. A festival can crown it the winner, but it still needs a distributor. And the theaters, for now, are saying, Not yet. Apple Insider, a generally reputable tech publication that I read, published a story this week with a blunt headline. Google wants to use your email to train their AI, and here's how to turn that off. The headline got some interest. It suggested Gmail content might be feeding Google's AI training systems. Google, however, responded firmly. Spokesperson Jenny Thompson told The Verge, "These reports are misleading. We have not changed anyone's settings. Gmail smart features have existed for many years, and we do not use your Gmail content for training our Gemini AI model." Now, that's a very specific denial. Google is clearly drawing the line between analyzing email content to power features, spam filtering, predictive text categorization, and using that content to train its generative AI models like Gemini. In response, Apple Insider later updated its reporting, noting that the issue stemmed from changes in wording and placement of Gmail's smart feature settings. And when you look at those settings, it's not hard to see how confusion happens. Labels like web and app activity, workspace data, smart features are bundled together with explanations about improving products and AI-powered services. It takes exceptionally careful reading to even begin to understand what applies to what. So this isn't about dunking on a publication. It's about clarity. At a time when the public is deeply sensitive about AI training data, why isn't there one plain statement in plain English? Can we use your Gmail content to train our AI models, yes or no? With, of course, the default being no. Instead, users get layered menus, mysterious explanations, and expandable legal phrasing. When even experienced tech journalists have to read settings twice or more and make mistakes, it's not a user problem. That's a design choice. More than 80% of companies report no measurable productivity gains from artificial intelligence, despite billions in spending. Where have we heard this before? That's according to a new study reported from Tom's Hardware, citing a survey of 6,000 executives. And these executive leaders say they personally use AI, but about 1/3 report spending just 90 minutes a week with it. If this all starts to feel familiar, it should. In the 1980s, economist Robert Solow observed what became known as the productivity paradox. He famously noted that computers were everywhere, except in the productivity statistics. U.S. productivity growth averaged 2.9% annually from 1948 to 1973. After the widespread introduction of computers, it dropped to about 1.1%, with meaningful gains not returning until the 1990s. It turns out the problem wasn't the technology. In fact, the technology was clunky and confusing and actually reduced productivity in some cases. But the biggest issue was companies weren't changing how they worked. They added computers, but they didn't redesign processes, change their strategies, amend their cultures. In some cases, information overload and new administrative layers actually slowed things down. Could we be watching the same pattern with AI? Recent research also suggested that AI adoption can increase burnout. As employees take on additional tasks, they're expected to produce more output without structural changes to workflows. If productivity isn't rising, but exhaustion is, that should also tell us something. Technology alone doesn't transform an organization. Changing the operating model is how you do that. Changing the processes, changing how people work and what they do. We're going to unpack that paradox and what companies may be missing this weekend on Project Synapse, our weekly AI show focused on real-world workplace impact of AI. Project Synapse appears Saturday morning. Hope you can join us. And that's our show. Once again, we'd like to thank Meter for their support in bringing you the podcast. Meter delivers a full-stack networking infrastructure, wired, wireless, and cellular, to leading enterprises. Working with their partners, Meter designs, deploys, and manages everything required to get performant, reliable, and secure connectivity into a space. They design the hardware, the firmware, build the software, manage deployments, and even run support. It's a single integrated solution that scales from branch offices to warehouses to large campuses all the way to data centers. You can book a demo at meter.com/HTT. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a fantastic Friday.